After decades of building a life, raising a family, and working hard for everything you have, the last thing you expected was to feel this vulnerable again. But here you are. Maybe widowed, maybe divorced, maybe just finally ready to find companionship. And the dating world you're stepping into feels nothing like the one you remember. The rules have changed. The risks are different. And if you're not careful, the loneliness that drove you to seek connection can become the very thing that leads you into a relationship that slowly empties your bank account, exhausts your spirit, and leaves you questioning your own judgment. You've heard the stories. Good men who thought they found love, only to realize they were funding someone else's lifestyle. Men who opened their hearts and homes, only to be left isolated from their own children and grandchildren. The truth is, modern dating after 60 isn't just about finding romance anymore. It's about protecting everything you've worked for while still holding on to the hope that genuine love is possible. And that means you need new rules. Not the outdated advice from a generation ago, but real, practical boundaries designed for the world we're living in right now. Because you deserve better than to become another cautionary tale. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through something most men over 60 wish they had known before they started dating again. This isn't about being cynical or closing yourself off to love. It's about entering this new chapter with your eyes wide open and your future protected. First, I'll reveal the 5 non-negotiable rules that separate healthy relationships from costly mistakes. These aren't suggestions or old-fashioned dating etiquette. These are modern protective strategies that account for how people meet today, how fast relationships can escalate, and how easily good intentions can be exploited when you're genuinely looking for connection. Second, I'll show you the warning signs that most men miss in the early stages. The subtle behaviors that seem harmless or even flattering at first, but are actually carefully calculated moves designed to test your boundaries and access your resources. These red flags look completely different than they did 30 or 40 years ago, because the tactics have evolved. Third, you'll learn exactly how to set boundaries that don't make you seem cold or untrusting, but instead communicate strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity. The very qualities that attract genuine partners while repelling those with hidden agendas. And finally, I'll give you a simple framework for evaluating whether someone is truly compatible with this season of your life, or whether they're just looking for security, financial support, or a caretaker. By the end of this, you'll have a clear action plan that protects your peace, your finances, and your family relationships, while still leaving room for the authentic love you deserve. So let's get into it, because this could be the difference between finding real companionship and making a mistake that affects the rest of your life. Let's talk about what's really happening out there. The dating world you knew, where people met through church, community events, or mutual friends who could vouch for character, that world has fundamentally shifted. Today, most connections start online, through apps and websites where anyone can create a polished profile that hides their true intentions. And here's what makes this particularly dangerous for men over 60. You're often coming into this space at your most vulnerable moment. Maybe your wife of 30 years passed away, and the silence in your home has become unbearable. Maybe a late-life divorce left you questioning everything you thought you knew about relationships. Or perhaps you've been alone for years and finally decided you don't want to spend your remaining time without a partner. That emotional hunger is normal, it's human, but it also creates a blind spot that others can exploit. The problem is compounded by something most men don't realize. There's now an entire demographic of people who specifically target senior men. They know you likely have assets, a paid-off home, retirement savings, social security income, life insurance policies. They know you value loyalty and commitment, which means once you're emotionally invested, you'll be reluctant to walk away even when red flags appear. They understand that many men your age were raised to be providers and protectors, and they weaponize that nobility against you. The technology itself creates additional risks. Scammers can research your life through social media before ever making contact. They can fake entire identities, steal photos, create elaborate backstories. Romance scams targeting seniors have increased by over 300% in recent years, with the average victim losing tens of thousands of dollars. But it's not just online criminals you need to worry about. Even in-person connections carry new dangers. Women facing their own financial insecurity may see a relationship with a stable, retired man as their solution, not necessarily out of malicious intent, but out of desperation that will ultimately drain your resources and peace. And here's the hardest truth. The courtship rituals you learned as a young man, taking things slow, being a gentleman, demonstrating your ability to provide, these behaviors that once proved your character now make you a target. The world has changed, and the protective instincts that served you well in your 20s and 30s can actually work against you now. Let me tell you about Richard, a 67-year-old retired engineer from Arizona. Richard lost his wife to cancer 3 years ago, and after a long period of grieving, his daughter encouraged him to consider dating again. He wasn't looking for anything serious at first, just companionship, maybe someone to share meals with or take walks in the evening. He joined a local senior social group, and that's where he met Diane, a 58-year-old woman who seemed warm, attentive, and understanding of his loss. She had also been through a divorce, she said, and was just looking for genuine connection after years of being undervalued. Their first few months together felt like a second chance at happiness. Diane was affectionate and interested in his life. She asked about his engineering career, his grandchildren, his hobbies. She'd bring him homemade meals and seemed to genuinely enjoy his company. Richard felt alive again in a way he hadn't since his wife's diagnosis. But then subtle changes began. Diane mentioned her car was breaking down and repairs were expensive. Richard offered to help. After all, that's what partners do, he thought. Then it was an unexpected medical bill her insurance wouldn't cover. Then her landlord was raising the rent and she didn't know how she'd manage. Each time, Richard stepped in, believing he was supporting someone he cared about through temporary difficulties. 6 months into the relationship, Diane suggested they move in together. It would save her rent money, she reasoned, and they were spending most of their time together anyway. Richard hesitated. His adult children had expressed concerns about how fast things were moving, but Diane assured him this was about love, not convenience. Once she moved in, the requests became demands. She needed access to his accounts for household expenses. She insisted on being added to his credit cards. When Richard's son questioned these arrangements, Diane created conflict, suggesting his children just didn't want him to be happy and were trying to control his life. Slowly, Richard found himself isolated from his family, defending a relationship that was costing him not just money, but peace. The breaking point came when Richard discovered Diane had taken out a loan in his name without his knowledge. She'd forged his signature using documents she'd accessed in his home office. When he confronted her, she became hostile, then tearful, claiming she'd only done it because she was desperate and knew he'd say no. She promised to pay it back, insisted it was a misunderstanding, and blamed her actions on the stress of financial instability. Richard finally saw clearly what had been happening. This wasn't a relationship built on mutual respect and genuine affection. He had been systematically manipulated by someone who saw his loneliness and kindness as opportunities. The legal process to remove her from his home and untangle their finances took months. The emotional recovery took even longer. But the deepest wound wasn't the money he lost. It was the betrayal of trust, the damage to his relationship with his children who had tried to warn him, and the shame he felt for not recognizing what was happening until it was almost too late. Richard's story isn't unique. It's happening to good men every single day. Men who simply wanted companionship in their later years and instead found themselves trapped in relationships that exploited their decency. Now let's get into the specific rules that will protect you while still allowing space for authentic connection. These aren't about being suspicious of everyone. They're about being smart and intentional with your heart and your resources. Rule number 1. Keep your finances completely separate for at least 2 years. This means no joint accounts, no loans, no co-signing, and absolutely no adding anyone to your credit cards or property deeds. If someone genuinely loves you, they'll respect your need to protect what you've spent a lifetime building. A real partner won't pressure you for financial access or create emergencies that require your immediate monetary intervention. If you want to help someone you're dating, do it in ways that don't compromise your security. Pay for a dinner, buy a thoughtful gift. But never hand over cash, never give account access, and never let anyone guilt you into financial entanglement by claiming it proves your commitment. Document everything. Keep records of your assets before entering any relationship. And never feel embarrassed about asking someone to sign a cohabitation agreement if living together becomes a consideration down the road. Rule number 2. Introduce new partners to your family and close friends within the first 3 months. This isn't about getting permission. It's about having trusted people observe the relationship from an outside perspective. Manipulative partners will often try to isolate you by creating drama with your loved ones or suggesting that your children are interfering because they're worried about their inheritance. Recognize this tactic for what it is. If someone truly cares about you, they'll want to be part of your existing world, not replace it. Pay attention when people who've known you for decades express concerns. They're not trying to ruin your happiness. They're seeing patterns you might be missing because you're emotionally invested. Create opportunities for casual group settings where your partner can interact naturally with important people in your life. Notice how they behave when they think you're not watching closely. Rule number 3. Watch how potential partners handle the word no. Early in dating, create small tests by declining requests or setting minor boundaries. Say no to a spontaneous expensive outing. Decline to change plans you've already made with friends. See how they respond. A healthy partner will respect your boundaries without punishment, guilt-tripping, or emotional withdrawal. Someone with hidden agendas will react poorly to any limit you set, because boundaries interfere with their access to you. Notice if they pout, give you the silent treatment, or accuse you of not caring enough. These are manipulation tactics designed to train you not to say no in the future. Pay particular attention to how they respond when you prioritize your health, your family obligations, or your personal time. Do they support your needs, or do they make everything about how your choices affect them? Rule number 4. Never make major life changes in the first year. Don't sell your home to move in together. Don't relocate to another state to be closer to them. Don't adjust your estate planning or beneficiaries. Don't retire early or change your living situation based on someone else's timeline. Give the relationship substantial time to reveal itself before making irreversible decisions. The early months are when everyone is on their best behavior. True character emerges over time, through stress, disagreement, and daily life. Rush nothing. If it's real love, it will still be there after careful, patient consideration. This rule also means being cautious about introducing financial dependency into the relationship. Don't become someone's landlord, employer, or primary source of support. Keep the relationship romantic, not transactional. Rule number 5. Maintain your own identity, hobbies, and friendships independent of the relationship. Continue attending your weekly card game. Keep up with your volunteer work. Spend time with your grandchildren without your new partner always present. A secure, healthy relationship enhances your existing life. It doesn't consume it. If someone demands all your time and attention, or makes you feel guilty for having interests outside the relationship, that's a warning sign. Your life has value and meaning beyond any romantic connection, and protecting that separate identity is essential not just for your well-being, but for evaluating whether this person truly complements your life or seeks to control it. Rule number 6. Research and verify. In today's digital world, basic background information is accessible, and checking it isn't paranoid. It's prudent. Look up public records. Verify employment history if someone claims to have a job. Check if they actually live where they say they do. If someone's story doesn't add up or they become defensive when you ask basic questions about their past, that's information you need to take seriously. Honest people understand that trust is built through transparency, especially when starting fresh later in life. You're not conducting an investigation to be cruel. You're protecting yourself from preventable harm. And finally, trust your instincts. If something feels off, even if you can't articulate exactly what it is, don't dismiss that feeling. You've lived long enough to develop strong intuition. Honor it. Here's what happens when you apply these rules with confidence and consistency. You stop attracting people who see you as a solution to their problems, and you start connecting with individuals who genuinely value who you are as a person. The shift is remarkable. When you establish clear boundaries from the beginning, you're actually communicating something powerful. That you respect yourself, that you've lived long enough to know your worth, and that you're looking for a partnership between equals, not a rescue mission. And the beautiful truth is that healthy, emotionally mature people are attracted to exactly that kind of strength. Think about it this way. When you protect your independence, you're not building walls, you're building a foundation. You're creating a relationship structure where both people contribute from a place of wholeness rather than need. There's no power imbalance, no hidden resentment. No one feels used or taken advantage of. Instead, you find someone who has their own life, their own friends, their own financial stability, and chooses to share time with you because they enjoy your company, not because they need something from you. Men who follow these rules often report feeling a sense of relief they didn't expect. The anxiety that comes with wondering if you're being manipulated disappears. You sleep better. You enjoy the relationship more because you're not constantly second-guessing intentions or watching for warning signs. The relationship becomes a source of joy rather than stress. You can introduce your partner to your children without defensiveness because there's nothing to hide or justify. You can make plans for the future without fear because you've taken the time to truly know this person across different circumstances and seasons. And if someone walks away because you won't compromise these boundaries, that's not a loss. That's protection working exactly as it should. You've just saved yourself months or years of heartache by filtering out someone who wasn't right for you anyway. The person meant for this stage of your life will appreciate your wisdom. They'll respect your caution because they have their own boundaries too. They'll be patient with the pace because they understand that real trust is earned over time, not demanded immediately. This is what mature love looks like after 60. It's not the breathless, reckless passion of youth. It's something steadier, deeper, and far more valuable. It's two people who've lived full lives choosing to walk forward together with honesty, respect, and genuine care. And that kind of love is absolutely worth protecting yourself for. You've spent decades becoming the man you are today. You've weathered losses, overcome challenges, and built a life that reflects your values and hard work. At this stage, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. What you need is a relationship that honors everything you've become, not one that diminishes it. The rules we've covered today aren't about being fearful or mistrustful. They're about being intentional. They're about recognizing that your time, your peace, and your resources are precious, and that protecting them is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. You deserve companionship that brings lightness to your days, not complexity. You deserve someone who sees your kindness as a gift, not an opportunity. And you absolutely deserve to move through your remaining years with dignity, security, and genuine connection. These protective strategies don't lock love out. They simply ensure that what comes in is real. If this resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and share it with other men who might need to hear this message. Your experience and wisdom matter. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is help each other navigate these later chapters with clarity and strength.